Julanne, it's wonderful to be able to connect with you again. Once again, we are celebrating the upcoming launch of the Imaginist, fairy tales, fables, and folklore, and you wrote a chapter in it. Do you mind to share what your chapter is and how this chapter came to be?
All right. Well, the name of my chapter is The Mourners. It's a story about a folklore involving family history. I was born into a Catholic family and very steeped in all sides, both sides, as Catholics back in the day, 1950s. They were unable to marry each other unless they were Catholics, both parties, the
Right.
husband and the wife. And some years ago, I wrote a book about my involving my childhood memories growing up in a Catholic and Protestant street. I mean, there were Catholics and Protestants in my little community in Milwaukee, Oregon, and we were very, very close. And yet there were stigmas and differences between the two religions. And when I got the opportunity, the offer to participate in this compilation series, I was unawares of what I was signing up for because I was so excited about the title.
And the
You
beautiful
know,
cover, huh?
and the beautiful cover that I just said yes, because I'm a big believer in using your imagination to create the kind of future that you want. And from the time I was a very young girl, was my philosophy. I knew that I was going to create whatever it is that I wanted to happen in my life. And as a result of being Catholic, I had a lot of things surrounding angels on my walls in my bedroom and was supported in that arena. And so I became very close to the angels at a very young age and called on them for their protection, their love, their support, their stability. I would get warm rushes over my body, tinklings when some of my aunts had passed. I would hear from them. And so using my imagination, I just launched. And when this opportunity came available, I reached into the archives of that memoir and picked out the one chapter that I felt would fit. Because, ordinarily fairy tales, folklore, and fables are not my genre. And yet I knew all about it, and it seemed like a divine appointment because here we were, and I had a deadline to meet, and I had already written the material, and it came up about the amount of words that were required. And so I pulled that story, The Mourners, from the Filbert Street series book so I could share once again in this compilation series and say something meaningful and historic to my family, to my relatives that we still meet every couple of years for family reunion. So that's how I got started. It was interesting because I was all in. I believed in the project before I could see it. And so I thought, I'm going to be involved. You've got to show me the way because I don't have a finger or pulse on this. But that's how I got started with this book.
That's beautiful. And I really like your quote that you dedicated to your chapter. Make yourself familiar with the angels and behold them frequently in spirit. Without being seen, they are present with you. That is beautiful.
And they absolutely are. When we get into alignment with who we really are and quiet the voice that is the chatter, and we go into that sacred space, within, and draw on the support system that we're all born into, then the ethereal world has a much better opportunity to be able to speak with us through these different various channels. It might be a friend, it might be your pet, it might be a synchronistic opportunity where you meet somebody. And, a lot of us, we call us earth angels. And I think sometimes the earth angels do come and minister to us at the different and various times of our lives when we're in need.
Thank goodness they do. Yeah. So what personal wisdom did you imbue into this writing?
Well, actually, I wrote this particular essay from the mind of the angels, the divine light. Archangel Gabriel is sitting on top of a building on a cross of a Catholic church, and he has a student with him named Othello. And Gabriel and Othello are having a conversation concerning this Catholic ceremony for Aunt May, who has deceased. There are two sides of the family. One family comes from the Midwest, Kansas, and the other family has moved on to Oregon, as the deceased was part of a very large family. My father, for one, was born into a family of 13.
Wow.
And so by the time the oldest was ready to fly the nest, the youngest was still in diapers. And anyway, so I'm trying to, through the story, I'm speaking through the mouths and the attitudes of the angels as they are looking onto this scenario, and the humanity and the Catholic rituals that transpire through this process is hopefully going to be entertaining for the reader and educational for the reader, and also give some history of the Jarmer family, which was one of my goals when I wrote the original story.
That's beautiful. And as the person reads your chapter, what do you hope they take away from it?
I hope that they can see that humanity is just what it is. People will always be have their own formed opinions, and yet, even though we are steeped in a tradition like the Catholicism that I grew up with, allow yourselves to expand beyond what you see in the natural world to what you can embrace from the supernatural world. I think that a lot of people on the planet today can feel and experience their own angelic beings.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of talk about the angel that sits on your shoulder. These are promptings from the inner she, the shiro, your heroes in the world that can be expanded through the angelic realm. And I would hope to encourage people to pay attention, to align with the divine, and then align with your divinity, and then you can see, open up to experiences that other people might put a label on as being weird or cosmic or out of your sphere of recognition of divinity, but that doesn't mean it's not there. And so with this chapter, I was trying to, to just create a scenario where, yes, the angels are looking down on the ceremony and people are going through their lives.
Right.
The children are, untucked and undone in mother's haste to get them to the church. The parishioners, in my case, when I was growing up, the Catholics were quite liberal, and they were, drinking wine and smoking cigarettes on the chapel steps, because that's just the way it was.
Right.
And the Catholic Church almost always, if not always, had a facility to teach their children in the faith. And I myself went to Catholic school for the first 6 years of my first 6 grades of my life. And it's just, I hope that the reader will see some humor in humanity and the love and respect that they give to each other, and the camaraderie that families, when they come together, it's often at a wedding or a funeral.
Right. Absolutely.
And these are ways that we come together and copulate as family and friends, and even strangers of the same family as they come together, and how we just kind of work through that and expand as a result.
Very beautiful. So I know you're a prolific writer, how do you set the correct atmosphere for for yourself to sit down and put pen to paper?
All right. Well, the first thing I have to offer is that I write every single day. I start every morning with my sacred hour. I call it my golden hour. I don't let my husband in. There's no emails coming in, no things from the kids. And I just sit down and I light a candle for myself and for an invitation for the angels to join me. And then I write a page in my appreciation book, a page a day. And that's how I start every day writing. Whenever I go into, like currently I'm working on another article for an anthology, and also I have a book that I'm hoping will be released in 2024, and I've already hired the editors to help me with that, to get that project off the ground. But the very first thing I do whenever I sit down to have pen and paper is I align with the divine. I have an energy feel. First of all, I call on my angels, and if you'd like me to, I can, take us through a brief meditation that would demonstrate how I get into alignment to begin my writing process every day.
Wonderful. That would be wonderful.
Okay. Well, what I do usually is I put both feet on the ground with my hands on my thighs, and I breathe deeply. At this time, I would like to get into alignment with my chakras, calling on the archangels. I open my crown chakra and ask the archangel Uriel to come in and filter her bright, brilliant light, filling my face with her intelligence and her receptivity to the universe. Next, I ask the archangel Metatron to inherit my third eye and open up that sphere to clarity and essence of pure, positive, divine light. I move down into my throat chakra, and I ask the Archangel Gabriel to come and assist me in the communication and give me the skills necessary to put the pen to paper in a clear and constructive way. Then I come down to my heart chakra, and I ask the Archangel Raphael, swirling pink and green, beautiful light, opening up the center to my receptivity that I might receive love. Moving down to the solar plexus, I ask the Archangel Shamuel to come in and give me the gut feelings that I need to establish what is right for the world and what is not. I appreciate that clarity, and thank you, Archangel Shamuel. I then open up my solar plexus and my area of creativity and invite the Archangel Ariel to come and inspire me in the ways in which I can be the greatest of service to the world. And finally, I ask the Archangel Michael, who is at the base of my chakra system. Archangel Michael represents stability, credibility, and armor to shore up all of the chakras that are in alignment. And then I ask the angel of balance to come forth and pour her blue vial of light in through my crown chakra, Uriel, Metatron, Gabriel, Raphael, Shamuel, Ariel, Archangel Michael. And with this, I am free to begin my journey in service to the world. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you come back into the room, we thank you, thank you, thank you to all that is divine, in alignment, in peace, love, joy, and most of all, happiness.
That was beautiful. Really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. So that's how I get started. That's how I got started before this meeting this morning. And if you're like me, you can just feel all of the weight of the world just leaving.
It just,
really
feels good. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's my woo-woo, as my son would say.
That's your woo-woo. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it was lovely to connect with you, and we'll conclude this interview. and it will go into the book.